Good afternoon, Dr. Mack. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Pastor Shirley, and all of those who are joining us today.
Yes, we are here for another episode of the Mother's Board Inc. And have we got some discussion today? Oh, yes, we do. Some hearty, wholesome discussion topics today, and it's a privilege. And we thank God for blessing us to be here. We're praying for and with each of you that your day is going well. And if it's not as pleasant as you would desire, we pray that it will become that for you. And we're praying for your health, strength, everything that's going on, that God will let you have a wonderful day, night, evening, afternoon, midday, whenever you're watching, morning, whichever it is. But we are happy to be here.
We are delighted to be here, and we are asking that you allow God to enter, allow the Holy Spirit to work within you, and please give a response to our commentaries. And that's what they are. We're simply saying, this is how we see this particular issue. And we're very delighted to bring it to you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Mack. We're going to go right ahead and get into our topics today. And our first one is, as I scroll on back to number one, scrolling. Let me just use this mouse and scroll it on up a little quicker. Okay. The chief administrator has fired a commissioner and a former acting director of the FBI, the FBI. In what way does this action make America great again, Dr. Mack?
I was hoping you would start that one.
Well, okay, it makes it a great big whatever I feel like it is because it's just a big old massive ball of um, I would say, I don't know whether confusion, turmoil.
Oh, okay.
That's right,
Nice
how
word.
I would put
Nice
it.
word. Clean word.
Turmoil. Hmm.
For me,
And
it's this. Oh, go
no,
ahead.
go right. No, go ahead,
No.
please.
I want to hear about the turmoil.
Oh, it's just as we see it every day, so we expect the same old thing any time of the day, night, morning, afternoon, evening, midday, whatever. We
Never.
expect anything to come out on the World Wide Web, the news channels on TV, the radio stations, whatever, because we know something is going to happen, and more than likely, it's going to be something negative in somebody's life.
What he's doing, and I agree with you, but what he's doing is if you disagree with him, even privately, now, I do understand that the FBI person, um, Driscoll, and the assistant, and not only did he got the FBI director, but he also got the assistant director, but for the one who did the statistics, the, that he didn't like, uh, the FBI went all the way back to January 6th when Driscoll would not give to him what he asked. He asked for the names of the agents who were investigating his role in that, what I'm going to call it a rebellion in that episode. And he wouldn't do it. And I have respect for him because let's take care. And he knew when he made that decision that there would be feedback. There
Oh,
would be some
yes.
kind of backlash.
Oh,
Now, the
yes.
other lady, he loved her until the figures didn't look pleasing to him.
Hmm.
So it's all about, I think you call it power, but it's all about my ego. I am the biggest, I am the best, I am the brightest bulb in the room. You know, I don't make mistakes. So I, I'm gonna go to my reality show. You're fired. But that's not the way it works. not the way it
Well, that's the way it's working for him, which it should not be because it's all, to me, it seems to be very unlawful. But they're letting it happen. They are letting it happen. And so the thing is that he's not able to manipulate everyone. And that is a thorn in his flesh because everybody's not going to bow down and perjure themselves just because he wants them to.
It's almost like he wants to rewrite history, Pastor Shirley.
He
You know,
wants to rewrite the story of the United States and he wants to leave out so much. That's why he's
mm,
creating so much havoc and doing all of these things. And then, yeah, he's trying to rewrite the story of the United States. Well, his story, really, because he wants to stick himself in the middle of everything. So that would be his story. Yes. That has nothing to do with making America great. It makes America a great big ball of turmoil.
yeah,
Not great
it,
again.
not what the it does the opposite for me, and
Yes, ma'am.
that's why I agree with you. We're not being
Exactly.
great. What we are doing, and one of the reporters called it, I believe it was James Carville. He said, "Okay, these are personal vendettas that he has going
Exactly.
from the past, from the in the present, and let's hope he doesn't get a chance. But they are, you didn't give me what I asked for. You made me look bad after I stood up and said, whatever I said, how great we were doing.
hmm
I hate that phrase that he uses, and we're winning. That's he. If you listen, you'll hear that and everything. And we're winning, and we're being great again. No, you're not. You're not being great again. You're not.
But you have to look at his mentality. So, what does great mean to him? It means being well, they say large and in charge, and everything going your way, and it's not going his way. But he wants it to. There are many out there that are bowing at his feet and shining his shoes and all of that, not literally, but we understand that they are out there and they're doing some things. So anyway, there are some people who will not bow down to him and they know what the next step is. If I don't say what he wants me to say, if I don't do what he wants me to do, then it's over for me in this administration. And so they'd rather face that than to have their story tainted in the books to come, in the storybooks to come. So I admonish them for standing up and
I do too.
keeping their integrity.
Yes.
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 So number two, in your opinion, why does the president take time to become involved
No.
with the career status of Gayle King and other celebrities? I'll leave it to you, Dr. May.
Because that was part of his former life. He was a TV personality. Um, Earlier this week, they reported that he starts watching. He doesn't sleep much at night. We know that. We obviously know that because he's tweeting, Truth Social. But at 5:30, he starts watching TV. He does no less than 9 hours of television. So it's not enough for him to be the most powerful, used to be the most powerful governing body in the world, but he has to go back and talk about Gail King and maybe not something that he actually knows. I hated that when he said, and she should have stayed with me or should have stayed, they had the picture of Trump, Melania, and Gail, but Gail says, when I took the picture with you, but we've always had differences of opinions. I'm not an advocate of yours. You remember when they were upset with her because she says, "Well, I don't see many blacks." Well, I don't know too many people who over the age of 35. If it's a group of people in front of us, consciously or unconsciously, we do that. For example, when there were, pictures of the aides in the White House,
hmm
you know, when President Obama was there, it was a rainbow. When President Biden was there, it was still pretty mixed. But right now, it looks like there's only one group. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
That's not right. You don't come at Beyonce or Bruce Springsteen or even Taylor Swift or and I believe Stephen Colbert fired. He says Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel are next. So, you know, just
Yeah.
you don't have time. There are children hungry. There are
Right.
governors who don't have sense to take care of the state's business because they're
Right.
running after your coattails.
Right.
We have senior citizens who will lose their Medicaid situation and they won't have the long-term care they need. You have a Secretary of Health or whatever who says this today and that tomorrow, and all of it sort of scares me.
Yeah.
Because I want to live as what is it? I want to live until my day is done. But
Uh-huh.
some of the things he's saying will shorten my days for sure. But he shouldn't have time to get into Gail's business.
Well, that's his business of getting into other folks' business.
Well, that's one way to put it.
And then getting back to him being a celebrity on television is because he had the money to pay to get that show on television. If
Mhm.
he had not had the money, and he would not have been on there. So he paid his own way to be what people call a celebrity. So I just want to put that in there too.
Okay.
Uh, he paid his way in, and so he's like everything. Like I've said before, it seems that everything to him seems like a game. That's the way it looks. Everything is a game. You can manipulate the board and you can just move the pieces around just like you want to. But life is not that, and he's going to get a more rude awakening about that too, and it won't be too long. Number three, what is your reaction to Hegseth's attendance to services at a Christian nationalist whose pastor doesn't think women should vote and want the United States to become a theocracy? Well, when birds of a feather, they
Loud.
say, flock together. How can two walk together except they agree? That's my answer.
And I do love it because we've talked about Christian nationalism, and you
Yes,
hear the word and you think it's something good, but it's not. So, but it is definitely not. But Hegseth, who actually, he took his whole family to this church, you
mm-hmm.
know, and this is that this Wilson man who has these strange things. Women should not vote. Go back and be the traditional woman. You know, women should not be in the army. He doesn't want. He wants them out of the army. You know, but I'm just saying, look, you are the Secretary of Defense, and we do need you to not be in that category. We need you to look out for the defense of all of us. And this is not his first encounter
Mm-hmm.
with Wilson, who is definitely a white nationalist. We know
Mm-hmm.
that. But it doesn't speak well for your office because you also said stupid things like
Yeah.
women should be in charge of like leaders in the military. And he has actually gone and removed the highest ranking naval woman. He has had the names of naval ships and things changed because they were not they were sort of engendered, and well, he didn't like them, and you know
Mm-hmm.
he's doing things that is make me go but I don't think he was up so qualified for his position. I,
Exactly.
I don't know why the heck he's there.
Yeah, definitely not qualified. And then people with the, let me say, and there is a complex, and he knows, and you know how it is when they say the shortest person is always, well, not always, but some short people are bullies because they try to
Yeah.
push their ways through life. And so he's lacking quite a lot. all the way around. And so he's doing whatever he can to try to prove himself to be all powerful. But all of this stuff is coming to a head. Yes, it is. And then we don't know what frame of mind or what kind of life, what should I say? I don't know what I should say values, but depending on how people are uh, brought up and what they're taught by their parents or guardians, or they what is submissive or whatever. We don't know what the status is in his marriage either.
That's true.
Uh-huh. And
Absolutely.
what she thinks, and we don't know whether she's running the whole show when she gets home or not. It
That's true.
could be. It could be. So, so people try to prove themselves, but that's okay. They can keep on doing all they think they're grown enough to do. But when it's time for all of this to wrap up, it's going to wrap up. So, people, I'm telling you, don't fret over this. Don't make yourself sick. Just keep on doing what you're doing. If you believe in that you can make it, you can make it. And just do good with your resources. Whatever your resources are, be wise with them, okay? It's all going to come to a head. This too shall pass. Did you talked about it? Did you, Dr. Mack?
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
Number 4, President Obama calls Texas GOP redistricting is, he says, it's a power grab that undermines our democracy. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? I totally agree with him because that's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. It undermines democracy. It's a power grab and it undermines, as he said, our democracy. That's exactly what it is. But all of this stuff, they can do all they want to do right now, but there's some other years coming up, and all of this is going to be reversed. I guarantee. All right, Dr. Mack.
It I agree. But I can still hear and see um, Vice President Harris talking about this very thing, you know, wanting to take us back, wanting kill the democratic idea and principles. I can hear President Biden talking about this man destroying democracy,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But you know what? These people was being like Israelites, in the Old Testament. They were following the voice. They were out there cheering for the
Mm-hmm.
wrong thing.
Right.
Now they're having to deal with what is. There are so many of them who are actually reading the big beautiful bill and going, "Oh, I didn't think that I did that." We have the congressman talking about, "I didn't vote for that." Yes, you did. And we have those just regular people reading, because it's such a big bill to start with.
Mm-hmm.
Just reading, go, "Oh, I didn't think that was in there." This is going to affect me personally. We had an adage years ago. It was called whipping. What's in it for me?
Right.
What's in it for me? Nothing. You're going
Right.
to lose you're going to lose some of the things that you had because you were so busy out there listening to the sales pitch.
Right.
Now you have to live with what you bought that does not work.
So true. And that is a result of hatred, racism, fear, jealousy, and envy. Whatever sounds good, if you're going to take this away here, take this away there, take this away there, go right ahead. But it's like they gave the guy a blank check.
That's
And many
right.
of them don't know what's in there. Many don't know, and they have admitted, I didn't know that was in there. No, you didn't, because you were too busy focusing on who you were going to stop from getting something else. that you didn't want them to have, or some certain group of people that you don't like, and so you want to cut them off from certain commodities, certain things that they need, and all that. But in the meantime, you're hurting yourself. So what is that? You dig one ditch, you
Dig
better dig
two,
two,
two.
because the trap you set for me just might be for you. And I'm not afraid to say it. What did Pastor Wright say? The chickens are coming
Coming
home
home
to
to
roost.
roost. Yes, he
Yes,
did.
ma'am.
Malcolm said the same thing, and they ostracized him. Malcolm X
Yes, ma'am.
said
But
the
it's the
same thing.
truth.
Yeah,
It is the truth. Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
Well,
So,
I'll just stay with what Aretha said. You got what you wanted, but you lost what you had.
yeah, so
It is
true.
still there.
And the whole story has not been told yet.
Oh no,
No, no, no, no.
no.
Okay. So why do you believe the Republicans were urged not to hold in-person halls during the congressional break? However, with the legislation now signed into law, the party committee urged members to get out and sell the bill's benefits. Please deal with that, Dr. Mack.
Well, before again, they were really not aware of it, but now they know what they have, and it's this. So many people are angry. So many people have questions. So they're asking these people. We elected you to go and take care of our business, and you didn't do that. You went ahead and you voted the way you were told to vote, and that's what happened to so many of them.
That's
So we
exactly.
want you to go out and I want you to tell the people how great this bill is. They are not buying it. They are not buying it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you can't be the used car salesman on this because we'll be getting to feel the results of that bill.
Mm-hmm. So true. So
You'll
true,
be,
Dr. Mack.
I think the last piece I saw on it was that the economists were suggesting that $2,400 would be added to our normal cost just
Right.
because of
Exactly.
the tariffs. So it's not good. If you add it to what you like already have and it's going out,
Mm-hmm.
nothing, no, no additional amount of money is coming into it.
Nope. $2,400 a year per family.
Yep, per family.
Per
That is what.
family. And
Yes,
that's taxation without representation, because those people do not represent us. And
yeah,
and I was thinking today, when you are two sides are opposite, and they're supposed to be working for their constituents, they're supposed to be doing the best that they can. So you have to fight fire with fire. You cannot be timid, beating around the bush. Sometimes you have to, and you know how they fight fires. Don't sometimes they start a little fire here, they go on down,
yes,
start a little one there, start a little to head off the major fire. And that's what these people have to get into their heads. They're going to have to be proactive, right, instead of
yes.
retroactive. That's what our people are going to have to get into their heads. There seems to be inevitable things coming up now, but that's all right. We will be all right, and it will change. All of that is going to be reversed in the future.
Yeah, we have to understand that there good things are going to come, but we're going to have to live through this season. I mean, we
Exactly.
speak of it as a season.
Yes,
We live through this season, and just as the changes in nature, um, this too, this too will pass.
it
It
will
will.
pass. I
It
guarantee.
it just annoys me that they're going back and pulling up such ancient, very old documents, and they're
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to. Did you read the piece where there's a section of the Constitution that's missing out of off the internet website? It's the section about the habeas corpus. Um, yeah,
Oh,
he had, well, it is very suspicious because these are the things that he, meaning President,
wow.
doesn't approve of. So you can't change the Constitution. You have to do, like, you really have to go to Congress for that. We have three branches of government, which he has forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
For him, there's only one.
Mm-hmm. And that's
And
him.
there you go.
And
And
it seems like that's all it takes now because they're seem to be leaning toward everything he wants. But
uh,
that's okay. Like we say, this too shall
shall
pass.
pass.
Yes, ma'am. Number six, which of the following major changes in new education laws for the students in Texas will be most difficult to enforce? Why or why not? Well, cell phone ban is not going to be difficult to enforce, but I think it's going to I understand they say they're a distraction. I understand that. But for parents' peace of mind and even for the students' peace of mind, a cell phone is a lifesaver in many situations. So I know it's not going to be difficult to enforce it because what they're going to do, they're going to confiscate the children's phones when they go in the building, and I guess, and then evidently give them back to them when
At
they
the
leave.
end of
But
the day,
that might come to bite them right in the derriere. And the display of the Ten Commandments, I think people will fight that. They are fighting it. They are fighting
yes,
it. But
Arkansas has a federal judge just ruled that you can't do that.
hmm
It's going to wind up at the Supreme Court.
oh yeah, yeah. Disciplinary actions. Okay,
Yes,
Dr. Mack, what are those? Which ones are they?
they actually noticed that the discipline is getting more explicit at a younger age. You have elementary school students who are actually having to be placed in a suspension mode. You expect that in middle school and high school, but not very early elementary.
Right,
So it's what it is I like to think of it as you know you're going to have to pay for the crime regardless of the age.
right.
Um, so the state, the law this time says that appropriate action,
Uh
you
huh.
know, for what happened, what
Uh huh.
actually happened.
Mhm.
You can't say, okay, he's second grade, he didn't mean it. You don't know
Mhm.
whether he meant it or not.
Yes. I see my camera went off, but that's okay.
Yeah, we're continuing.
Yes, ma'am. So let me get back to this. Okay. So now, prayer, religious texting, reading. So
Now,
is that one of the no-nos, or is that a lot?
that is what was approved. You
Okay.
know, and a lot of this in Texas is coming from Florida, which is coming from the Project 2025 situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, kids could always pray.
Yes.
Even after Madeline O'Hare, but it had to be student led.
Yes.
The adult couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Uh, so you're under the Florida curriculum, you're going to have a situation wherein um, your teachers or other adults, even the chaplains, um,
Yes.
can do that. Now,
Okay.
is that a good thing? Well, if I was raised, let's just say if I was raised, Church of God in Christ, okay, um, but then I've got a Baptist person working with me. I think these persons who are going to be doing this need to be cognizant that all children aren't coming from the same household. You
Right.
know,
And then you have to use wisdom.
yes, that's
Mm-hmm.
what it really boils
Have to
down
use
to.
wisdom.
I, I don't want you to talk about the way I see God. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to do that. Don't put it down. And I don't think
Right.
school is a place for that.
Right. Right. So we have lots of things that are coming up, and somebody's gonna will always be for, someone will always be against.
But I think parents actually are the ones who start the religious training for the kids. I honestly believe that. You know, for me, a parent is whoever is
Hmm.
raising the child. A
Right.
parent can be a great aunt. A parent can
Right.
be a grandmother. Oh my
Right.
goodness. Uh, it doesn't. It's not necessarily the traditional mother-father situation.
Right.
So,
Right. So there's so
but it
many
is
things.
their right. It is their right to teach the kid the religious beliefs that they
Right.
want that child to have.
Right. I tell you, it's so much to pray about for those of us who pray and believe in God. There's so much because this world is the world, the people in the world are so in turmoil, their minds and everything, the confusion. Some people don't know what's right, don't know what's wrong. There's just so much out here. So we have so much to consider and pray for. And so here we're going for some more. What are the 5 major health issues affecting senior citizens today? And this is what I wanted to add because we have some
Okay.
things going on with people, and it says about, and so I'm going to go with the vision first. We have the cataracts. It said about 24 to 36% of people between ages 65 and 74 have cataracts,
Mhm.
climbing to 50% in those 75 to 84 and 64% in those 85 and older. And the scripture I want to tell everybody, Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, and I think it's the first through the seventh verses, I believe. So go there and you'll see all this is happening about the eyesight getting dim, the grinders are so few you can't chew your food. But thank God he made provisions way back then that there would
Yes,
be
he did.
dentists, there would be optometrists, there would be retina specialists, there would be heart surgeons and heart specialists. He made it right for us. So, and that really reminds me of the scripture says that he will not allow you to be tempted above that you're able to come through or be victorious because he's already made a way to escape. And so, like he knew that we were going to need all of these
Mhm.
doctors, all of these specialists and everything, and he provided those. He has provided those for us. And then we go to that's number one, glaucoma. Approximately 5% of those in their late 60s have glaucoma, with the risk of roughly doubling by age 80. Then we have, which is the age related macular degeneration, that is
Mhm.
AMD, and its prevalence increases with age, affecting around 1 to 2% of people in their mid 60s, and rising to, let me see, to what is it, 10% of those 85 and above. Then we have diabetic retinopathy, 1 to 12 older adults, in about 1 to 12 older adults who have diabetes face this. And then we go to presbyopia, presbyopia, which is near vision decline. Near vision decline. It becomes nearly universal by the mid 80s, with the vast majority of older adults requiring reading glasses or bifocals. And we know all about that, I think.
Yes, we do.
Yes. And then I want to go, and that uh, came from, oh my goodness, I'll have to put that up later where that came from. But I'm going to Health Issues of Seniors today, and this was by, I'm just going to list them, read the list. It's by, let me get her name, Laura Roe, Roe Stevens. and learning about the top health concerns for those of us who are 65 or over. There's a heart disease, and it's the number one cause of death in Americans over 65. Then the next we have is, let me get on down here because I put all of it in my group here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it tells all, it leads, tells us what we should not do and what we should do to avoid this and all of this. Okay, and then we have, let me go to number two. Where's my number two? Cancer is the number two cause of death for seniors. And then number three, these are things that we need to be concerned throughout life, but as we get older, especially, there's arthritis. And then number four, I'm scrolling, everybody. Number four is diabetes, and it affects 33% of Americans over 65. Then we have number five, which is, come on, come on, come on. Number five. It's Alzheimer's disease and dementia. Number five, and it says 1 in 10 Americans over 65 has dementia, and nearly 6.9 million seniors have Alzheimer's disease. That's a lot. That's quite a lot. And I wanted to talk about that, just mention that for our health because we do, etc. That means that too. Yes, and so then I have two more here. The time is what, 54 after? So
Mm-hmm.
we're doing well. And what do you have to say about those, Dr. Mack?
Oh no, that they those are right. It, just taking a look at the, well, we may never get another one from the CDC
Mm,
with a person in office, but those coincide with what hospitals are sharing, um, and the largest group being seniors. Each one is a very important thing, but we cannot have people who make big, beautiful bills that cut out medical research. We
exactly.
cannot have that. We're living longer, so you need to find it. And guess what? What do we have? We have young adults dying with some of those that you mentioned associated with seniors.
Yes.
And when I say young adult, we're talking uh, 35, 42, you know.
Hmm.
So something's wrong.
Right.
It's not balanced now. So
Yes.
we need to sort of get up, as my great aunt used to say, we need to fall on our knees and do some praying here.
Yes. Yes, we do. Number two. Thank you, Dr. Mack. How would you describe much of the legislative body here in the United States? What let's see. What does it remind you of as a group? So this question is based on what we're experiencing today.
Not
And
what
to
was.
me, it came to me earlier. That's why this question came to me. This answer that came to my mind came first. And I said, oh, okay. Power hoarding, power hungry. And it's like they're organized, like gangsters and mobsters, organized crime. And that's
Yes.
what it seems like to me. Because if it doesn't go my way, or I'm going to change everything, and everybody's got to dance to my music, no matter who it hurts or whatever, but I'm going to take care of me and mine. And everybody else can go wherever they want to go, just as long as they don't come my way. And it's just, I'm going to manipulate. I'm going to do the things that I want to do with as much power as I have, and I'm going to do it now while I can. So it's like I said, position hoarding. Some of those people have been there too long in those positions, They're power hungry. They don't want to give up the positions, and they want to do anything they can to please themselves, no matter what it is. I think it up, and if I feel it would benefit me, I'm going to put it into action. So that, to me, it seems like what is happening today.
I agree. And I go back and I look at the this isn't the first time we've had um, greed, just outright greed in the
Yes,
White House.
yes,
Because there have been reports according to how much has gone into the family, you know, the family holdings. Although you're
right.
not supposed, as president, you're supposed to give up on that, and
Mm-hmm.
the sons are supposed to. He did do that. The sons are supposed to be in charge of that. But we're
Mm-hmm.
talking a Bitcoin situation. We're talking coinage. We're talking sneakers and Bibles and watches, and just going on and on. But
Anything.
yes, I'm thinking about those from our American history who did that. They were more interested in gaining more personal wealth. You
Right.
Here we're still having questions about the airplane that's sitting in DC, that came from a foreign country, that you will take with you. This president wants to take with him as part of his presidential library. Come on. We don't do that, and others have not done that. But
Well,
that's what's happening. And it's just not something that we should do. Every day I look at it and I think about history, world history. What is happening? If you start taking away the money from the colleges and universities because you said they didn't do anything, and within days of your coming, you signed a DEI, get rid of all of that, you know, because there are people who want a job and can't get a job because of quota. I have never heard of anybody who really wanted to get into a school or get a job who didn't look like me. Now, first of all, you gotta not look like me. But if you don't look like me, you haven't really had that problem of getting in. Now, I had problems getting in, but you did. So
right.
we're going back to history, and these personal things we have thought or thought about doing. That's what those world leaders did that caused wars.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
with being bad here in the United States on the
Right.
domestic level, but we're interfering with other countries. You
Right.
are buying Russian oil, India, so your tariff is now 50%. That's not right.
Right.
You got to get the oil from somewhere.
Well,
So,
yep. It's so true. So true, so true, so true. So, and when I say, like organized crime and all that, I'm not saying everybody. I'm not
oh
talking
no,
about the people who mean well, mean good. I'm not talking about that, but there are some of them that have this mentality, as we have been told the mentality is from experience here in the world of, the organized crime and all that, because that seems to be all it is. Now,
well,
number three.
excuse me, Pastor Shirley,
Okay.
did you hear the report yesterday where your president is talking about taking over Washington, D.C.? He wants
Huh?
to bring in ICE agency. First of all, this the ICE, the persons who, and they're recruiting for ICE, right? The salary is phenomenal, you know. And what is it, Dean Cain, who played Superman, who wasn't asked to be in the new Superman, whatever. Anyway, he's becoming a nice agent. But your person in office is talking about the District of Columbia has never been a state, and it shouldn't be a state. See, this
Wow.
is the kind of stuff, but he wants to take it over. Now, I hate to say this, but I did notice that the mayor of DC is black, and I have noticed how whenever she's in his presence, he tries to block her out.
Of course.
You
That's
know,
that's that
he doesn't allow
mentality.
her to speak, that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And I hate. It used to be called Chocolate City, but even though it's not called that anymore, that area around the White House is patrolled by the Capitol Police.
Mm-hmm.
The other part is the Metropolitan Police. You know, but you want to take it over. It's just as simple as having the rose garden removed and you paving it over. When is concrete more beautiful than looking at something that God allows to grow and bloom? Give
Mm-hmm.
me a break here.
It's that mentality. If I didn't do it and didn't get the credit for it, then I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that whoever is part of whatever that beautiful thing is, and I'm not a part of it, I'm going to destroy it, demolish it, and do something with my name on it. And
Once,
that's exactly what the person is doing. It's that mentality. If I didn't do it, then it's no good. It's no good. But that is that mentality, and it won't last that much longer. I know I say that, and people say, "Well, when?" People probably say, "Well, when is it going to end?" Just be patient. Just make sure that I'm going to
you're
make
ready.
sure that I keep myself together, and that I keep myself as a model, moral being in this United States. I'm going to do the best that I can. So when I don't want to be caught up in all of this stuff, because all of this stuff is coming to a head. So if you could revamp our whole government system, where will you start?
Oh, well, I'm a person who believes we start with the grassroots. Let's start at the bottom. And it has, and you have to really work at it now because the school used to be the vehicle to teach. You remember taking civics,
Hmm.
and then later on, democracy versus communism in college and all that. But start at the grassroots. Somehow we have to um, get back to the message. What is a democracy? Why is the democracy important? But I can still hear echoes of the fact that said this is what is going to happen if this person, this MAGA person, is elected. People did not listen. So, but if I could, I'd start. There's no point in starting at the top. These people are already indoctrinated. They believe as he believes. You know, if he says jump, they want to know how high. But I'm going to start with some younger people who will maintain the spirit and share the message and make it a reality.
Sounds good to me. You start from the bottom, but what I was thinking, if I had to revamp it, if I had to clean it up, I'd start at the top. Like what did the quiz in Alice in Wonderland said? Heads will roll. Was she the one that said that?
Yeah,
And
okay, yes,
not
yes.
physically
I know,
rolling, but
I
people
know.
would be out of office immediately. I just let them go on out, like that movie said, go on out, wait on out by the gate.
Wait
Get
a
them out
minute.
by the gate, close the gates, and we'll send your stuff on. You just go and find wherever you're going. We'll send your stuff to you later. Start at the top. Get all that out of there. Now that's how I said, but I understand exactly what you're saying. Let them know what the system is all about and
Should
how
be,
it
should be,
operates.
should be about. Because
Yes.
what's happening now, and I love reading, about salvation and sin and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the wonderful thing about that is that the person who sinned, that's their sin. But the person who causes other people to sin, and when you're looking at these folks at the top, because I promise you that's what he's doing, it's a trickle down situation. So somewhere you have to, get rid of that because
Start.
these
Yes, ma'am.
these kids think that's right because nobody's there to tell them it's wrong.
Exactly. But the thing, remember what they say: if you want to kill a snake,
Cut his head off.
cut off the head.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So anyway, we're not talking literally about killing people, everybody. No, we're not. But you have to start somewhere. Like Dr. Mack is talking about, starting with the educational part of it and everything. And I totally agree, Dr. Mack. I
In an
totally agree.
ideal situation, huh?
Yes, ma'am. I totally agree with you. Yes, I do. Number four, what do you think the main focus slash concern is for this present generation? Do you think they can handle the business of the world as we take leave of it?
It's well, I'm not sure. We were sort of into a materialistic state, where everything was about having the material things of the world.
Hmm.
What do I need to do? I need to have this money. I need to live in this neighborhood. I need
Hmm.
to associate with the right people. Forget the clicks. I just need to do the right people. I
Hmm.
need the corner office at the building. I need to be in this position where I have ultimate power. Well, somewhere we have to break that chain. That chain needs to be broken. And we have to go back to caring for everyone. I
Yes.
don't say let's go out and take care of the world. Charity begins at home. Let's take care of these domestic issues that we have.
Right.
And then we can share with others. You
Right.
know,
With others. So
when we
true.
did USA, when we cut that out, when we came with the chainsaw, your muskrat person,
Uh
we
huh.
cut it out. Not only, they thought they were just doing this to hurt this African country, but what they didn't realize is that a lot of research was going into diseases that are not here
Uh
in the
huh.
United States right now.
Hmm.
That was being worked out before it was, you know, before it got here to start making people sick.
Uh
But
huh.
we got to go back and start looking at things differently.
Right. Right. Thank you, Dr. Megan. You know what I say is that they're going to have to manage.
Yes,
They're
no
going to
choice,
have to manage. They don't have a
no
choice.
choice.
And I asked about this generation. This is the alpha generation now.
Hmm.
And Gen Z was the last generation. And I want to talk a little bit about that, the information that I got. This is the alpha generation, and Generation Alpha is the current generation of young people born between 2010 and 2024. And it says, however, 2025 marks the beginning of the generation beta, the
Hmm.
next generation to come. And it says that the alpha generation is the first generation to be born in this century. So let me well, not this century, but anyway, Generation Alpha is the first generation born entirely in the 21st century. I'm right. From 2010 to 2025, they're digital,
Hmm.
uh, digital natives growing up with smartphones, AI, and social media from a young age. And then it asked me a question. Did you know 43% have access to tablets before age 6,
That's
and
true.
58% use smartphones before 10? Yes, that's so true. And computers, Ashley and Nicholas, they were operating computers. Ashley was operating a computer before she was a year old.
Yes. It
I
was.
would sit her in front of that computer. She would be in my lap, and or in her parents' lap at some time or another. She would be in our
Mhm.
laps, and we would have that mouse, and we would be going from place to place. Ashley learned that computer, so we got to where when she could sit herself 6 months or whatever at that we could sit her at the computer, and she could operate that mouse, and we would do, let me see, what was that? I cannot remember that educational program, but she loved it, and she would operate that computer. So yes, it's no surprise to me that these children are learning earlier and operating these. Hey, I have to ask Nick and Ashley sometime to show me
Yes,
things.
you know what I do.
Yes, ma'am. The expert at the house.
Yes, right.
And it
And I
says,
thank God. Look at, and I thank God for it.
me too, me too, me too. Generation Alpha is growing up with technology in
Hmm.
ways we never imagined. They're the first generation born entirely in the 21st century from 2010 to 2025, I repeat. And 43% have access to tablets and before age 6, and 58% smartphones before age 10. And then I had them to send it to my phone. But that is so interesting to me. So now this year we're going into the beta generation. Came out of Gen Z.
Yes,
Now we're in Gen Alpha. Now we're going into Gen Beta this year. It's
yes,
amazing. They will have to cope, and they will do well.
they will.
They will do well. They have to. They have no other choice.
Well, like you said, this change that will come, and I sound like Sam Cooke, but this change that will come, it's just a matter of time. And
Just a
notice
matter of
what's
time.
happening in each of these time periods, these
Hmm.
epochs, is that the the value systems will be changing.
Oh yes, ma'am.
They will definitely be changing. We will
Yes,
no
ma'am.
longer be talking about the unchurched and the church, you know, because you've got a group now that says, hey, I know the Bible, I believe in everything, I love my fellow man, but I'm not going into the traditional church and sit down and listen
And
anymore.
there's so many of them are saying they're not, and then there's so many that are coming in that we could not number. So
So
it's just choice.
it is free will.
It's a
So
choice. Yes, ma'am. And
it
God
is.
allows that. But the
Yes,
thing is that no human being will leave. The judgment day won't come before everybody has the opportunity to choose
right.
which way they want to believe. That day is coming where it's coming, but everybody will have a chance to make up their minds which way they want to go. This is wonderful. Dr. Mack, you want to give us a roundup on everything we talked about
Oh
today? If
my
you
goodness.
well, however you want to do it.
Oh no, well, what we did is we talked about topics that were of interest to people. And when I say people, I mean not just African Americans, but all of God's children. Now
Yes,
say it
ma'am.
like that.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we talked about the politics that were involved. We talked about the science and the health that affect senior citizens, which is the largest population that we have because a lot of new babies are not being born.
Hmm.
We talked about laws that come out of the political arena that affect our lives on a on a massive level, but also on an individual level. You know,
Right.
if you don't understand this, you do that. We talked about what's happening. We became futurists with this changing paradigm, um, where this group coming up, the beta people,
Hmm.
will not see things as the millennial or the Z or
Yes.
the Alpha. They're going to see it differently. But what
Different.
we're all going to do is we're going to pray for the good of all. We're going to
Mm.
remember the word and we're
Yes.
going to share. We're going to let our light so shine, you know, so that we can help these that are coming. And we are so grateful that you took time out to be with us today and to listen, make some comments, and truly join us again on our next podcast.
Thank you, Dr. Mack. Absolutely awesome. Thank you so much. I love you, everybody. We love you so much. And please join Dr. Mack on next Wednesday at 1 p.m. for From the Biblical Files of Dr. Mack. Please join Greater Gospel Temple and Inspiration of God Ministries on tomorrow, which is Saturday here. But whenever you get to see the webcast, we certainly appreciate it. And thank you so much. At 7:39 p.m. on Saturdays, 7 a.m. on Sundays, Point of View on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Mondays, Monday mornings, 5 minutes of prayer. May the Lord continue to bless and keep you, and may you be willing to be kept. We love you so much. Enjoy every minute of your life. You are
Bye bye.
awesome. Dr. Mack said, see you later. What did you say, Dr. Mack?
Bye bye. We'll see you later.
All right.